Once again, thanks for tuning in. You're listening to World Combat Sports, and this is Devin, Haney, Jorge, Linares weigh-ins. Yes, last minute deal, but they're currently on deck. Haney set the face, former world champion Jorge Linares in a lightweight bout. Jorge Linares makes 135 pounds for Devin Haney. Both fighters balance the scales accordingly. We have a fight. The main event for the WBC lightweight world championship is on the line. Undefeated Devin Haney, the champion, will defend his belt against Jorge Linares. So we have a fight, of course. Yeah, I mean these two are professionals, and when it comes to the scales, they pretty much on par. So I really wasn't worried about anything. I just want to see what both fighters have to say right now. Natagata, Domanagato, Gizaimas. So I did not know Jorge Linares resided in Japan, but I do now, and that's good. I pretty much understood what he said in Japanese. I mean, it's been a minute, but damn, that's what's up. The guy was pretty much asking Devin Haney, what he's planning on doing and so forth. I mean, that's something that's really pointless to ask a fighter before they actually step in the square, but he's pretty much saying, you have to tune in Saturday night. The guy was asking him, you plan on, taking the lead or reacting to what he's doing. Devin pretty much said he's prepared for everything that Jorge Linares said. I mean, has to bring, and also Jorge Linares pretty much said the same thing. So both of these fighters are prepared for one another. They had a good camp, no excuses. It wasn't any disrespect, so to speak, at the weigh-ins. It wasn't, so it wasn't that energy that we was looking for, like Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos, or that Tony Harrison and Jamel Charlo, you know what I'm saying? Or any other press conference that bring that fire, that Derek Chisora heat, that Javante Davis energy at the presser. But yeah, we have a nice fight card. A lot going on boxing, for this year. And yes, indeed, I got to first and foremost, salute Sir Ken in the building. What's good with you? World Combat Sports salute. Salute to the wrenches and salute to the chats. Smash the like button. Appreciate you all day, Sir Ken in the building. Now, I'm looking forward to this fight. Real talk. I'm really looking forward to this Jorge Linares fight. Devin Haney defending his WBC title. He is Jorge Linares, a former champion, and he has that experience. He does. He has more experience on this championship level than Devin Haney has. Does that mean he's going to go in there and have a walk in the park? Absolutely not. He's going to have to be smart. He's going to be strategic, patient. When it's time for him to force the issue and give Devin Haney a little bit more pressure, he's going to have to do that. But Devin Haney, he's going to box. Devin Haney is one of those all-around boxers. He can actually box. He has the skill set to go in there and work it from any angle, use his footwork and everything else. The big question is, we know Linares sat down Lomachenko. We know Linares has more power than Devin Haney. Which is going to outperform the other? Is it going to be the boxing skills? Because Jorge Linares can box too now. Jorge Linares can box. Is it going to be the boxing skills, or will the power be the determining factor that kind of changes the game in this fight, changes the dynamic of this fight? That's what I truly want to try to find out about, the Jorge Linares and Devin Haney shifts during this fight, as the rounds go on. I want to find out who's going to be dictating the pace, who's going to be the pace setter, how the other fighter or the opponent going to handle that pace. That's what I'd like to know. You know what I'm saying? But I want to give a shout out. This is Bomb Squad Nation all the way to July 24th, all day long, man. The bat signal is going to be in the air. Yes, I'm gonna stick to the damn Bomb Squad EP4, Skid Mark Chronicles, Skid Mark Chronicles to all the haters. Nah, we sitting up here saluting and supporting the U.S. heavyweight champion as he ride back in there and fight for his title. So you better get used to this damn thumbnail, because it's gonna be rocking all day, every day until July 24th. So moving on, like I said before, this is a pretty good fight for Devin Haney. It's not like he's fighting an undefeated fighter or another champion in the lightweight division, but also, you can consider this to be his best opponent to date. Real talk. This is his best opponent to date. This is Jorge Linares, like I said before, very experienced and skilled boxer. We're all curious to see how it's going to play out. It's a reason why this fight is 50-50. Because we truly don't know. We truly don't know. Some people can't, some people are refusing to see anytime during the fight that Devin Haney can hurt Jorge Linares. It's just certain boxing fans that I spoke to. They don't see it. They just feel that Devin is going to outbox him, right? Then Jorge Linares, when it comes to Devin Haney, they don't see Jorge Linares in one way, shape, or form outboxing Devin Haney. Devin Haney is the quicker, he's the faster, quicker fighter. I cannot sit up here and tell you he's the more astute fighter. I can't tell you that because I never seen Devin Haney in the ring with Lomachenko. I never seen Devin Haney in the ring with any of the big names in the lightweight division. So I really can't tell you what to expect. You know what I'm saying? How he's going to react to certain things. This is not the Gamboa. This is not an antiquated, slow, lethargic, flat-footed fighter. Jorge Linares, he can go in there and bang. Devin Haney, he can go in there and box, and he will get dirty periodically every now and then. But would that be a smart move on his part to go in there and try to exchange heavy blows with Jorge Linares? The same Jorge Linares that sat down Lomachenko with that right. It all leads up to a pretty decent suspenseful fight, man. It's intriguing. It is the biggest fight of Devin Haney's career, so we have to look at it in that perspective. A lot of us definitely want to see how both fighters perform, more so Devin Haney. Why I say Devin Haney? Because he is a big name in the sport of boxing. It's a lot riding on this fight where people are trying to compare him to Teofimo Lopez as the bigger names in the lightweight division. So the only way to determine that is, Devin Haney go ahead and have a superb performance with Jorge Linares. And then if Teofimo Lopez and his team stick to their what they said, stick to their word, and saying they're going to fight Devin Haney next, we will have a solid defense of those titles with everything on the line. No more excuses, no more nothing. Period. And like I broke this shit down for you before. I told you all. Team Haney cannot request this franchise belt after all the criticism and scrutiny that they placed upon this franchise belt. They cannot talk about it. They cannot request it. They cannot say, "Oh, it's good for business. We need all the belts." People are gonna sit up here and have something to say about it. They're gonna feel some type of way if they request a franchise transfer of that belt. And then you have to take in consideration if the fight does happen, and I'm talking past Jorge Linares, which I shouldn't be doing because Jorge Linares is an absolutely dangerous opponent. But let's just say, for instance, Teo and Haney fights, and they don't request a franchise belt. Who keeps it? Teo is a franchise champion. He keeps the belt. I'm waiting on WBC President Mauricio Suleiman to provide us with that explanation, but we really don't know what's going to happen. What happens to the belt? You know what I'm saying? Because if it's not petitioned like everybody else, Juan Estrada, Vasil Lomachenko, Canelo Alvarez, if it's not petitioned, then therefore, if Teofimo happened to lose that fight, he would still remain franchise champion in my eyes. It just doesn't dissolve in the thin air. But then again, Team Haney might be forced to petition to be the franchise champion. If they have an opportunity to step in there with Teofimo Lopez for all the belts. Teofimo doesn't have to do anything except show up to the fight, and Devin Haney's belt is on the line. But for Devin Haney, he has to petition for that franchise belt. You know what it means. You know what's up. Rashida in the building. What's good? Say Devin can put Linares down. Not sure what you mean. If you're talking about he can knock him down, okay, we'll see. We'll see. You know, while they need our support, the UK support theirs. It's time to back your own champion. Man, the US know what it is. They know what they need to do. I remember Linares can get cut easy. If Devin puts some real pressure, he can really hurt him. But Linares is a seasoned fighter. Big step up for Devin. I look at it like this. What is real pressure? You know what I'm saying? What is real pressure? If you limited with your punching power and you can box, what pressure are you going to put on a fighter like Linares who can box too and have respectable punching power? You don't want to put pressure to the point where you end up placing yourself in a predicament or you get caught with a punch. You know, you have to be smart about it. Devin Haney has to go in here and be smart. He has to be smart about going in there with an experienced fighter like Jorge Linares. I'm gonna tell you, this knockdown in the third or fourth round, or fifth round stoppage. I'm not going for any of that. I call FIX all day long. I'm not going for none of that shit. Jorge Linares' 5 losses are all knockouts. I don't see Devin Haney going in here stopping Jorge Linares. Period. That's just me. I don't see it. Nor do I see if he does stop him. I don't see it happening in 5 rounds. I don't see it being an early stoppage. Can Haney outbox? Does he have the potential to outbox Linares? Absolutely, he does. He has the potential to do that. But Linares can box. Both of these guys can box. But will the power be the equalizer, or will the sweet signs, the movement, the defense, the quickness, the timing, will that play a huge factor coming from Devin Haney to Linares? We'll see. We'll see. Y'all just stay tuned. We will see how that works out. Moving on, shout out to Team Bomb Squad, man. You know what it is. You know what it is. You know what it is. Big fight coming up. Big fight coming up. For real. Devin Haney, just a little article to read on Devin Haney. This is via Boxing Scene. He said, I don't feel like I need to stop Linares. If the stoppage comes, it comes. Of course. Okay, that's look, I'm not gonna sit up here and be deeply critical of Haney's verbiage this time, because it seems like he's taking a more intelligent approach to this. Just the title alone, for somebody who really deals with language. Devin Haney said, I don't feel like I need to stop Linares. If the stoppage comes, it comes. That's better than him telling all of us that he was going to do, or what he was going to do to Yorkis Gamboa. He was going to beat him worse than anybody ever had, and it didn't happen. So he received backlash from that. Now he said the knockout comes. That's very, very an intelligent way to put it, because he don't know. He's confident in his boxing skills, but he don't know. So why put yourself that extra needed pressure to put yourself under the microscope to go ahead and try to knock out Linares? He said no matter how many reporters asked after their press conference, Haney wouldn't predict a knockout of Jorge Linares on Saturday night. Haney wouldn't even allow Amari Jones, a junior middleweight prospect he mentors, to answer when Jones was asked during a joint interview if Haney would beat Linares by knockout. Now, I don't have a problem with this, being that that Linares is a junior middle, Amari Jones is a rising fighter in the sport. I don't have a problem because Haney, at the end of the day, Haney is the head of that camp. Haney is the premier champion in that camp. So I can understand if he gave, Amari the look and said, "Nah, Shouty, don't answer that question. We sticking to the script and we going ahead and box." The typical pre-fight question is even more relevant as it relates to Haney and Linares because each of Linares' 5 professional defeats has come by technical knockout. And I totally agree. 5 of his defeats have come by knockout, right? So I can understand, once again, don't put yourself in the predicament to go out here and wager a knockout when you're unsure if you can cash it. That's not smart. It goes on to say the unbeaten Haney has drawn some criticism for not knocking out his past 2 opponents. Alfredo Santiago, who was 12-0, all right, and Yukis Gamboa, both of them were big underdogs entering those 12-round voluntary title defenses for Haney. If he becomes the first opponent to defeat the 35-year-old Linares by decision, Haney inevitably will hear and read about it from unsatisfied fans and media. Now let's take a look at this article. He said if he becomes the first opponent to defeat the 35-year-old Linares by decision. Now, what that means, people, is just like I said earlier. Jorge Linares has 5 defeats which are knockouts. None whatsoever of his knockouts are via decision. So basically what they're saying is, based off Haney's last 2 fights, Alfredo Santiago and Yukis Gamboa, they were expecting because your mouth wrote a check your ass couldn't cash. All right. You went in there and let your hands, delegate the authority and win the fight. But what this article is speaking on is the fact that they're trying to insert some type of climactic drama to Devin Haney, who is the superior boxer, in my opinion, heading into this fight with Jorge Linares. Right. So they want to add some extra heat. You know what I'm saying? They want to spice it up a little bit, and they want to just insert the drama to it. Knockout. And I like the fact that Haney did not answer the question, nor did he allow anybody in his camp to answer the question. I like it. But this article right here is basically betraying to us that, if he defeats Jorge Linares via decision, the fans are going to be dissatisfied once again, like they did with Gamboa. The only reason they was dissatisfied with Gamboa was the fact that, pretty much Devin Haney spoke that fight into existence by going in there and saying he was going to do him dirty and do him bad, worse than any other fighter he's ever done. He placed that on his plate. When you prognosticate like that, you got to live up to it. In this particular fight, he's changed it up, but now the media is trying to inject that to the audience that, hey, you should say something. Devin Haney wins by decision. He'd be the first one to give Linares a decision, a loss via decision. That's not a good look. In actuality, it is. It's a very good look because he has Linares on his record as a win. To be honest, to be petty, you would hear me say some shit like, leading into this fight with Teofimo Lopez, if that's who you want to fight next, and that's who you've been calling out, vice versa, then we need to see some drama, just like Gervonta Davis. We need to see that drama factor. You know what I'm saying? We pretty much know you can go in there and box for 12 rounds. We understand that. We've seen that already. But now it comes down to, does he really like punching power? It's a weird, strange enigma when you think about it, because people look at Devin Haney comparable to the toolage of Floyd Mayweather at certain points in his career. I don't compare him to Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Because he's Devin Haney in himself. He has his own brand. So when I look at all the collective styles and the trainers that he's been around throughout the years and get to this point right here, now They're not really talking about his boxing. They want to boost Devin Haney up to be a premier name to talk about his comparisons in fighting Teofimo Lopez. But if he goes in here and go the distance, it's kind of fucked up. He goes in here and go the distance and beat Jorge Linares, he would have been the first one to defeat him via decision. And people will be petty to speak on it. They say, oh, we ain't worried about nothing. He going there with Teofimo Lopez. The only thing we can look at him as doing is outboxing him. We'll see how that works. But we pretty much are clear that he doesn't have power because his last 3 opponents, he haven't did anything except go distance. You can't devalue it like that. You got to look at it in the point to say, you know what? He did what he's supposed to do. He earned the victory. It's boxing at the end of the day. It's boxing. It's a sweet science. Every fighter isn't blessed with the punching power of Deontay Wilder or Gervonta Davis. People are not blessed, especially with Deontay Wilder. People are not blessed with that type of humanistic, mortal power. Almost immortal. You know what I'm saying? But not too many people blessed with that. So that's the only reason why I'm looking at this article and I see them say unsatisfied fans and media. It goes on to say the 22-year-old Haney predicted during the press conference at Mandalay Bay that he had put on a very dominant performance. Very dominant performance, clear, concise, straight to the point. Balanced properly, not too overly weighty on one side or the other, talking trash. The Oakland native just doesn't think he needs to knock out the former 3-division champion in the main event. The zone was streamed from Mandalay Bay's Michelob Ultra Arena, 8 p.m. Moving on. Why would I feel that? Haney told Boxing Scene prior to the press conference. He's been stopped by good fighters. Kano is probably the only okay fighter that stopped him. He's been stopped by great fighters, good fighters. So, of course, I don't feel like I need to stop him. I think that I just need to go in there, put on a great performance, do what I do, and if the stoppage comes, it comes. It's hard. It's hard to knock a guy out that doesn't want to be knocked out. And, some guys go in there and they try to survive, like Gamboa. Or, some guys come in there to win and they get knocked out. But we'll just see. Linares' most recent knockout defeat occurred in the first round of a 140-pound debut against Pablo Cesar Cano in January 2019. The Mexican veterans dropped Linares 3 times before their scheduled 12 round ended just 2 minutes and 48 seconds after it began. That marked the 3rd time Linares has been stopped early in a fight. Mexico's Juan Carlos Salgado beat Linares by first round TKO in October 2009, and Sergio Thompson defeated him by second round TKO March of 2012. So there you go. You have that lineup of when Jorge Linares has been stopped. And the opponents that made it happen. It goes on to say, in the bout before Thompson stopped him, Antonio DeMarco beat Linares by 11-round TKO. Linares was way ahead of DeMarco on the scorecards before losing that fight, 99-91, 98-92, 98-92. He was way ahead on the scorecards. Incredible gap. Linares later lost to Vasil Lomachenko by 10-round TKO in May 2018. The Tokyo resident was ahead of Lomachenko on one scorecard, 86-84, and even on another scorecard, 85-85, when Lomachenko landed a body shot that abruptly ended their WBA lightweight title. Haney, 25-0-15 knockout, still remained reluctant to predict he'll become the 6th opponent who will stop Linares inside the distance. I don't want to make any predictions for a knockout because styles make fights, Haney said. And, he's at a point in his career where he has a lot of experience. And like Gamboa, some people, they just know how to survive. So that's the second time that we've heard Haney mention surviving. All right. So I'm taking this in a perspective where I have to drum this beat. Was Alfredo Santiago trying to survive? You saying Gamboa is trying to survive. So therefore, Linares, you go the distance with Linares, I'm not sure what you're going to have to say about that. So now I'm hearing it twice, whether, it's a repeated quote or not. You're saying fighters in there to survive against you. That's all I'm saying. You saying fighters in there to survive against you. So if that's the case, you need to understand that. You need to understand your own record. That's all I'm saying. Understand your own record. You're 25-0, 15 knockouts. You don't have a 90% knockout ratio. And I wouldn't say fighters are surviving because they're standing there with you. Just accept the fact. You go in here and you fight your fight with Jorge Linares, and that's all we want to see. If he goes the distance with you, you take the victory. But yes, people are gonna now commit to the declaration that you don't have any punching power. You can't really hype. You really can't underline one word: survive. The smart, skillful Haney believes beating Linares impressively, even over 12 rounds, will be more than enough to prove that he is an elite lightweight. Haney has defended the version of the WBC lightweight title since. Yet he admits that on paper, Linares clearly is his toughest opponent since he's turned pro 5 years ago. Of course. It doesn't matter, Haney said. If it goes 12 and I'm able to showcase my full arsenal, then so be it. If it's a knockout early, so be it. If it's a late fight knockout, it's cool. Linares, 47 victories, 5 defeats, 29 by way of KO, has cautioned that Haney should be concerned about getting knocked out himself in a fight. He is regularly listed at least a 12-1 favorite to win. He's saying stuff that anybody can say, Haney said. Anybody can say, oh, well, I have experience. Okay, there's people that get beat with experience every day. That's how he became world champion the first time in his career. He can say, oh, if he makes a mistake, I'm going to knock him out. Well, of course, I would say the same thing. I mean, skills pay the bills. It shows on Saturday night. And that was a pretty decent article. I'm not going to lie. That was a pretty okay article, to be honest. Pac-Man ATL in the building, man. I was over there online at freaking Boxing Scene reading that damn article. What's going on, Pac-Man? Golden Warrior, Tay Jones in the building. What's good? Andrew Charles in the building. What's good with you? Evis, salute. What's good, people? People got to stop expecting Haney to knock people out. Expect him to win rounds. Hey, it's boxing at the end of the day, so everybody's gonna look at it different. You have some people that like, the fighters who possess that equalizer just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They may not get a knockout all the time, but the anticipation is there. The probability is there for them to get the stoppage or to hurt their opponent. And it depends on who it is. It depends on who fighting who. People will say, oh man, I know a knockout gonna happen with this. These two fighters right here, I know a knockout gonna happen. I know it is. Hey, not every fighter possesses that type of anxiety when it comes to their boxing fans. Not every fighter has that ability, because heading into the ring, if we know that you don't possess the power, we just basically saying to ourselves, okay, let's go see them box. Let's go see them box, because he ain't knocking nobody out. But I agree, Andrew. When it comes down to it, he should do what he do. He would say Linares, no chin. Yeah, man. If that's the case, well, you have to register, Evis, a no chin versus no power. We need to see how that equals itself out. We have to see how that plays out. No chin, no power. Then it comes down to what? Timing. Chilling. That's what's up. Dion Washington, what's good? Salute, my brother. Tuscaloosa in the building. What's good? With that squad getting some to eat. That's what's up, man. Shout out to the squad, man. Shout out to the bomb squad. We got the bat signal up, man. Keep on putting out those videos. That's what it is. Stay focused. Do what you have to do. It's gonna be different. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna put this thumbnail up, and we're gonna goddamn refute all the haters. There's too many motherfucking haters in the US, first of all, that look like me. First of all, let's get that straight. We got too many haters that look like me, my shade of color, that still don't get it. We got skip marks all around that's just straight up hating and being disrespectful for motherfucking views. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna go down. If you ever wanted to meet the champ, it's pretty much a done deal now that you want. But man, y'all enjoy y'all meal, man. I don't know why people would drop shit in my inbox talking about Happy Memorial Day. Happy Memorial is no such thing. I mean, Memorial Day is celebrated for people to take time and visit, but really, it's for the fallen. It's for the dead. People just look at it. Oh man, Memorial Day coming up, shawty. Man, we get this meat. We go get this meat. Who putting in on the ribs? Who putting in on the ribs, man? That's first and foremost. Who putting in on the ribs? And who gonna get the drink? We need more than we need at least about 3 people to put in on the drink, man. So people get together and celebrate what? They ain't celebrating vets. They're not celebrating first responders. They're not celebrating combat sports. They're not celebrating all the individuals that died of something. They just up here saying, man, let me go up here. Let me get me something to drink. Let me get that hen dog in me. Let me get right. Let me get that Patron, man. Who gonna put in on the chicken? What we gonna do with that? Y'all need to be on time. You know what I'm saying? Who cooking? Who gonna be on the grill? I mean, that's what Memorial Day is. But it's crazy when people say, hey, I know you're a vet, man, but Happy Memorial Day. Nah, dog. Don't tell me Happy Memorial. Nah, it don't work that way, shawty. For real, it doesn't, man. I ain't gonna lie. But y'all, man, the link is in the chat for sure. The link is in the chat, man. Y'all don't have the link. Let me put it back out there. I want to get some people on here to talk about this fight that's on July. I don't give a damn who get tired of listening to it. We're gonna talk about this shit because we need more and more fans to show up to Vegas, put your money together, and go in there and watch this damn fight. Check out IG, check out his damn videos, share them, and support the champ when he rolled back through. Split the ropes. You know what it is, man. Come on. You know what it is.
Bomb Squad!
Yes, sir.
Bomb Squad!
And see, I didn't even adjust the volume or nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it's delegated through the damn microphone, through the audio. But what's next on the I'm looking forward to this just a little bit. I'm looking forward to the Nordino Bali and Nonito Donaire fight, bantamweight. I remember when, Rashi Warren fought Nordino Bali, that was for the vacant title. He's still champion. It's crazy how I said this before, right? I said only certain type of fighters get this hallmark, this invitation. It's only so many people that get that. And what I mean by Nonito Donaire lost to Naoya Inoue. He lost, right? So just like Sergey Deryanchenko, they just say, let us oblige you. We'll move you over to the WBC. The same thing they did to Sergey Deryanchenko. He lost the IBF. He lost twice. And then they say, okay, you couldn't get it done at IBF. Let me move you over to WBC. That's pretty much what happened to Donaire. He couldn't beat Inoue in a way. And then they moved him over there to the WBC. Oh, it must be nice. It must be motherfucking nice. For real. It must be nice. This article, once again, they say Deontay Wilder thrilled with ruling, aims to derail Fury Joshua. And we know that's already started. The reason that's already started because he was able to win the arbitration, which is very clear and evident right now. He won the arbitration outside of his February 22nd loss last year. So in the meanwhile of recouping and getting back, healing from surgery, he was able to, place himself in a situation to fight to get his title back. And that fight was outside the ropes. Salute for that. Former heavyweight world champion Deontay Wilder is very pleased with last week's arbitration victory, which allows him to secure a third fight with Tyson Fury. Back in February 2020, Fury stopped Wilder in 7 rounds to capture the WBC title at the MGM Grand. Wilder would then exercise his immediate rematch clause. After several postponements, mostly due to coronavirus pandemic, Fury and his handlers deemed the rematch clause as expired. Yes, I absolutely clearly remember that expired shit. And I was thinking to myself, there's no way it's that clear cut. In no way it evaporates into the thin air when it was influenced by a pandemic. When in fact, Bob Arum has said plenty of times before that there's no way this fight can happen without fans. Forward, Wilder would then initiate a legal action to enforce his contractual right to a rematch. Fury was trying to finalize a full division unification with IBF, IBO, WBA, WBO champion Anthony Joshua. The two sides had a tentative date of August 14 in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I now see, come to think of it, I remember that August 14th date. And I just looked at it as one of those farts that was so bad that you could see it. Because most of the time you only smell a fart. But this fart, you can motherfucking see the shit. You knew it was all bad. It's all, man, here we go again. Here we go again. It's an August 14th date. They done put the shit on BoxRec. Knowing damn well that there's an indication that the fight would never happen. Why? Because there's a huge wedge that's stopping that flow of traffic. And that was the arbitration. When I heard this motherfucker, I said, I can't put any type of relevant interest into August 14 as being legitimate in Saudi Arabia. I was hoping the fight never fucking happened. No, it's selfish. It's selfish to think that the pandemic has no value to the contract not being honored for Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder to fight a third time. So since they could not fight without fans, it's only right for them to fight in the trilogy when shit starts to clear up, regions start to reopen their doors, and we're able to have a live gate, right? That's true, right? But those plans came crashing down. Once again, I like this right here. But those plans came crashing down those plans came crashing down last Monday when it was announced that arbitrator had ordered Fury to honor the rematch clause with Wilder. Yes, sir. But those plans came crashing down last Monday when it was announced that the arbitrator had ordered Fury to honor the rematch clause with Wilder. Just when you think it's hardly any justice, man, it's justice. That was motherfucking justice. Now we need to delegate the verdict. That's what we need. The verdict. The punishment has to be now rendered. Silence is golden. The trilogy fight has a target date of July 24 in Las Vegas. Wilder was just thrilled with the outcome. It was just phenomenal. Wilder's co-manager Shelly Finkel told Sky Sports, it was a great feeling. There's a parable about the dog with the bone. The big bone was Saudi Arabia, and you end up with nothing. Bob Arum, Fury's promoter, wants it in July because they believe Fury is just going to walk through Deontay Wilder. And just to dichotomize, just to halt it, pause it for a second. Goddamn Tyson Fury said he's stopping Deontay in one round. Now, I have to be honest with you. I did take a little bit of psychology in college, and really, I wanted to goddamn make a house visit. You know what I'm saying? To see if this motherfucker okay. See if he didn't have motherfucking powder everywhere. You know, like he was trying to bake a cake and he got them dropped the bowl on the floor. Motherfucking powder everywhere. I just wanted to see, was that the case, nigga? And then they can get the fight on with Joshua, provided he beats Usyk in the fall. That's what their game plan is, obviously. But we aim to derail that. We'll see. Finkel explains that at some point, Joshua promoter Eddie Hearn realized that there were legal liabilities hanging over his head by attempting to finalize the Fury unification. Well, look, we all know Eddie Hearns is all about bloviating his falsicities. He's one of those guys that awfulize a lot of untruth when it comes to reporting. People take his word as scripture, like he's been writing that shit in stone and giving it to the people, and they've been mass reproducing it into the damn Bible. I don't know why so many people believe Eddie Hearns. Eddie Hearns knew all along there was liabilities. He's been around boxing enough to know to keep an eye on this freaking arbitration. He knew the shit was not completed. He knew it wasn't finalized. So for him to go up here and puppetize his audience, dangle people on the strings and think the shit is really popping off like that. They really going to Saudi Arabia for Fury and motherfucking Joshua fight. Don't say I never told you. Eddie Hearns is guilty of puppetizing. And, you know, believe it or not, I guess, you know, from what I've been saying on YouTube, you know, they've been pretty much making sure they remove my DAZN videos off IG. Yeah. There's some people paying close attention to my freaking IG page. That's okay. All right, cool. I don't think you have an arbitration out there and you go say, well, we made a deal already. I don't think you have an arbitration out there and you go say, well, we've made a deal already. That to me is just not the logical way to do things. And then after that, you don't hear Eddie Hearn, Joshua promoter, say anything Finkel said. That's true words there, Shelly. For real. Talk to him. You know, talk that shit to him. You know, you're right. That's not logical there, Shelly. That's not logical that he will continue to push an undisputed fight, knowing damn well you have a situation out here pending. It goes on to say the reason. Obviously, someone told him, you better not say things because if Fury fights you, your guy instead, you have massive, massive liability. You have induced a breach. You have induced a breach of a contract, baby. I say one more again. You have induced a breach of a contract. And then that's been adjudicated in the court, and you induced him to do it, hanging Joshua out there for it. Goddamn, hanging Joshua. Don't that seem a little bit like, you know, servility, like a little bit slavish? Because Sir Eddie Hearn did at one point in time say that Anthony Joshua is his property. So when I read this shit right here, it seems like it's all about the property of Eddie Hearns. Joshua out there for it. What they say, induce him to do it by hanging Joshua out there for it. It seems a little bit slavish, don't it? Correct me if I'm wrong. You know what I mean? It seems like we're going there, and it has nothing to do with the race car. It has something to do with history. You did remember what Barry Hearns said, didn't you? About Dillian White. Okay. It became obvious to Eddie because he's smart. Now he's smart, right? I better shut up. And I had nothing to do with it. But they knew there was an arbitration case. Everyone knew it. And there was at one point, Aaron went for a summary judgment. It was denied. Everyone knew it. And there was at one point, Aaron went for a summary judgment. It was denied. Once it's denied, you've got to know there's something the judge is thinking, because he would have given you an indication the case was over. Soak up this knowledge. Soak up this knowledge now. This is all public record. This is PR. Soak up the knowledge. It goes on to end this article. You have to have your own self logic. You've got to say, look, even if it's a 1% chance I'm going to lose, it's a 1% chance. I can't say it's not going to happen. They deluded themselves. Al and I just continued to press forward. You didn't hear us in the papers. You didn't hear us say anything. Silence is golden. Avoided all press. I just don't get that kind of sureness that nothing could happen. Damn. They pretty much provided that summation at the end. Proper. That shit was motherfucking proper. You have to have your own self logic. You've got to say, look, even if it's a 1% chance I'm going to lose, it is a 1% chance. I can't say it's not going to happen. They deluded themselves. Al and I just continued to press forward. That's what a unit do, right? That's what the team does. Shout out to the team too. Shout out to PBC. Shout out to Al Haney and Shelly Finkel. Shout out to the team, JDs, Malik Scott, Coach Cuz, everybody that's over there on the team, Cousins, Tay Jones. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the team. Shout out to the champ. Man, this July 24th champ, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. When you make this ring walk this time in 2021, it's going to be different. The volume is going to be different. It's not going to be those boos you heard over there at the motherfucking MGM and at the Staples Center. It's not going to be those in-betweens like you can't figure out who's booing you and who can't. That's not going to happen this time. Because I think a lot more people respected the fact, even though they don't want to admit to it, I think a lot more people respect the fact that you fought inside the ring for your motherfucking life and you fought outside the ring for your motherfucking life. Now you about to step back in here after winning two already. You survived the fight. You recovered. You went into arbitration. And you make sure your paperwork was good. Check his paperwork out. What does the paperwork say heading into this fight? What does the motherfucking paperwork says? What does the paperwork say? So therefore, if we wasn't able to fight, there has to be some type of litigation that we can pursue to that fact of stepping back in a third time. And that's where we at right now, Charlotte. July 24, Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium. The biggest fight. It will go down in history. J8 in the building. What's good? Salute, man. Look, this is goddamn the Skid Mark Chronicles, man. Y'all got to jump on here and talk about this fight. You can talk about some more topics or whatever, but I want to hear what y'all think about this fight. I don't like the fact that not too many people, most of the time they want to get on there and talk about the bullshit on other channels, but they don't want to come over here and talk about some shit that makes sense to the fight. Let's go ahead and talk about how much of an effect it's going to have when Deontay get his title back, and who will he call out next? Who do you all want him to fight next? Would you want him to see? Joshua after he fight Usyk, if he survives that. Will we automatically go into undisputed? Will we get the same naysayers and snakes and motherfucking turtles with no shells? You know what I'm saying? In the winter, with the motherfucking mutts and the rats that was busy up here encouraging the undisputed championship, knowing damn well there's an arbitration going on. Are they going to support if this arrives and come to the surface? Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, are you going to support it? Who are you going to vote for? Because you have a Nigerian and you have Tuscaloosa, Alabama's own. So who are you going to support? You know what I'm saying? Huh? Who are you going to support then? You're gonna have those individuals, right, that would have never thought that moment would come. Deontay Wilder can shake up the world by going in here getting his title back. He already put that tremor in there. The arbitration was a tremor. You know why it was a tremor? Because it shook that wave all through the boxing community, even here on YouTube, when motherfuckers thought it was absolutely irrelevant to take it serious. They thought this motherfucking shit was irrelevant. Man, nobody give a fuck about that arbitration. That shit's fake as hell. Don't worry about that, man. The fuck you talking about? That shit ain't real. Don't worry about the arbitration. They just talking. And one of the biggest fools on here talking about, the arbitration's been over since 2020. He's retired. What an idiot. As in the military, we call you ID 10 Tango. ID 10 Tango over. Do you copy? ID 10 Tango over. ID 10 Tango basically spells idiot. There's no such thing as arbitration. That sent the tremor through the boxing community. That allows certain individuals to stop calling you on the phone. Man, hey Scotty, let me talk to you, man. See, Scotty, why, man? You have a good, solid platform, man. You do a lot in boxing. Why you got to support, Deontay Wilder, man? It wasn't cool what he did to Mark Breland, bro. All those excuses, bro. Man, come on, man. You know that shit didn't happen. It was a complete fight. It was fair. I'm saying to myself, like, bro, have you even seen a fight in person? Do you have any type of gauging comparability to how he looked in that other fight when he was knocking motherfuckers out to this fight when he stepped in there with Fury for the second time? Even then, I will ask them, do you think he presented the same energy that he did in the first fight than when he stepped in the ring with Tyson Fury in the second fight? Do you believe they was equal? Do you believe they leveled out and he was pretty much, at 100%? If you say yes, then obviously you're one of those individuals that really don't follow that particular fighter, Deontay Wilder. You just haven't followed him. You know what I'm saying? And on the other hand, you might just be a complete hater. That's pretty much how that summed up. Let's go back to another article. I want to give a shout out to Clarissa Shields too. Clarissa Shields is up there training at Jackson Wink, and she's due to make her PFL appearance really soon. People, next week, shouty. Clarissa Shields is stepping in the cage next week, shouty. Yes, that's for sure. So let me give you an understanding on my take on this, right? Looking at what she's been able to accomplish and achieve, amateurs all the way up to profession, there's no need for me to go line for line on her accomplishments. She's did that shit in grand fashion. You know what I'm saying? She did that shit in motherfucking grand fashion. If she want to call herself the GOAT, she can call herself the greatest woman of all time, and really can't too many people dispute it. There's gonna be some hating because when you put that G on there, people sometimes get very sensitive about the G. So I'm the type of person, I try to keep it, level logical, whatever logical level. I look at, do you want her to put an L on that motherfucker? Or G sounds a little bit better? Because if she was to put an L on that motherfucker, now you have legend. So do you want the G or do you want the L? Because the L is going to hurt, being that she's only, 20, 25, 26 years old? That shit's going to hurt. If she came up with an acronym that said legend on it, then people have a problem. Anyway, back to the point. She's due to step in there, professional fight league coming up. next month. I mean, next week. Let me pull up her. I want to pull up her opponent once again. Her opponent says she's gonna knock Claressa Shields out in one round. So Claressa T-Rex Shields, you can now find her on Topology. Topology most of the time depicts mixed martial artists. She's 11-0, right? She's 26 years old. Her birthday is March 17, 95. So she just had a birthday this year. She's, like I said, she's trained in Jackson Wink from Flint, Michigan. Now, her opponent for mixed martial arts, because she's coming off a boxing win against Marie-Eve Dakar, which underwhelmed, period. Because for Dakari to be 17-0, it just didn't make any sense why she wasn't putting forth much more pressure doing anything. But Brittany Elkin is 3-6-0 mixed martial arts. They don't have her age up here and all that other shit. She's 3-6-0. She's coming off a grappling bout win over Fatima Klein. And that was back in October 2020. That was a grappling bout. She had another grappling bout in October 2020. And I'm pretty much looking at this as a tournament base. You win, you advance. I'm going to say that same date she fought 4 times. She grappled 4 times. October 31st, 2020, she had 4 bouts, grappling bouts. Out of those 4 bouts, she went 3-1. 3-1. All right. So what does that tell you about Claressa Shields' opponent? She's more orientated into grappling. She's more orientated into grappling. All right. Her last mixed martial arts fight was January 2019. Yes. January 2019. That's the same year that Adrian Broner and Manny Pacquiao fought. January 2019. She fought Bobby Joe Dazelle, who was undefeated. And she lost via round 1 arm injury. Probably got that shit snapped from an armbar submission. But let's check this out. That is the last time she fought mixed martial arts, people. So by the time she steps back in here with Claressa Shields, she would have not fought in a mixed martial arts fight in over 2+ years. That's a serious issue. And let me go on and break this down just a little bit more. The one dilemma that I have with her being a grappling is not too much out there besides her being submitted in the first round in January 2019 to basically focus on her boxing. So this benefits Claressa Shields partially because Claressa Shields has those hands and she's quick. If Claressa Shields come out in the first round and close distance early and let her speed overwhelm this chick, then it may be an early night for Elkin. It may be an early night. The reason why I'm saying Claressa Shields overwhelm her and don't give her time to try to set up a takedown or anything is because she's an elite level boxer. So why not get in there and see can you touch her up with those 4-ounce gloves? For Brittany Elkin, her only thing is to square up, take advantage of Claressa Shields' inexperience, throw those head feints, those foot feints. Use your kicks. This is mixed martial arts. I don't give a fuck if you're a grappler. You know how to kick. Use your kicks. Claressa Shields, she's just learning how to kick. So I'm not sure as to how good and if she's been able to open her hips up a little bit more. It takes a lot more training than months to open your hips up enough to basically conceal that kick and pop it up there like you would say a Holly Holmes, Amanda Nunez, Valentina Shevchenko, Thug Rose Namajunas, who just knocked out Zhang Weili. So therefore, I'm looking at the torso of Brittany Elkin. She has long legs. I really don't know if she can kick or not, but this is mixed martial arts. Clarissa Shields has to understand that. I want to tell you point blank, Elkin's only chance is to throw those feints, to take advantage of Clarissa Shields' nervousness and go in for a takedown. The advantage Clarissa Shields will have is to take advantage of Elkin being out of the ring and being out the cage in the mixed martial arts cage and the mixed martial arts fight for over 2 years. Overwhelm her with that speed. Overwhelm her with your boxing, your elite boxing prowess. Overwhelm her with that shit. Don't allow her to set shit up. You allow a grappler to think and close distance, to get in close, to change levels, you might have a problem. The mentality of Clarissa Shields, if Elkin is able to get in and lock up on her, she needs to understand that forget about the punches. She needs to start landing elbows. She needs to start to work for that underhook. She needs to really work on the takedown defense aspect. Don't try to punch somebody in the head when they're locking up and they're a grappler to take you down to the ground. No, we're not trying to see an early fight. We're not trying to see the James Toney effect when he went in there against Randy Couture. We're not trying to see that shit. So I'm providing you with the scale of opportunity. Elkin is definitely going to have to feint her way in because Clarissa is definitely going to be looking for an uppercut. Why? Because you're messing with a grappler. That's the same shit they used to do to Damian Maia. Damian Maia, you knew he was going in for the takedown. Some motherfuckers was hesitant with overly committing on their punches, but yet when they did, they quickly worked for that underhook for that takedown defense to try to turn him and counter that takedown from Damian Maia, which was absolutely tough to do. We're talking about the BJJ world champion. If Elkin is able to get in on the hips of Clarissa Shields, then Shields has to utilize her takedown defense. But this is one crucial dynamic, y'all, that is going to play a factor in this fight for Shields. It's crucial. Is that it's her first time. I don't care how many times she's practiced. It is her first time in a cage, barefooted, in competition against a mixed martial artist. The reason why I'm calling her opponent a mixed martial artist because she's had a fight in MMA. So she's 3-6. Clarissa Shields is definitely going to have some jitters. It don't matter how many times you've been in the boxing ring. Your entire combat battle attire is different. Your mentality is different. You're going in there barefooted. You're going in there with 4-ounce gloves. And you have 5-minute rounds. This is none of that 2-minute round boxing. You have 5-minute rounds. 5 minutes in the cage is goddamn forever, y'all. So just remember that I told you. I broke it down as best as I can. I'm gonna provide some more clarity, but this is what I do. I can switch over to boxing and then go to MMA. It's all good. I give you what you want. But I'm really rooting for Clarissa Shields to go in there and be 1-0 in mixed martial arts. Absolutely. I really want to see her think smart, be smart in there. You know what I'm saying? Don't go try to knock this female out and forget that if she survives, Clarissa, understand now that you're wearing 4-ounce gloves. You do have 2 knockouts, but you are not a knockout puncher. I don't want you overly committing on a grappler. But yet you can't wait around, wait around, wait around. Boom, back up against the cage. She rushes in and say, you know what? She really don't have, any room behind her to really load up on a punch. This is my time. They press you up against the cage. Oh my God, it's a whole nother world for you. But if you're able to handle that world, I'm gonna commend you. I'm gonna salute. I'm gonna say, damn, her takedown defense is on point. Carissa Shield has hips now, but it's a lot of girls in mixed martial arts has hips. It's all about how you use those hips. How many times you practice sprawling. Sprawling is just a little minimal part of it. If you don't get the sprawl, now you have to know how to work off your back. Now you have to understand how to position yourself. You get it. You get it. D Hodges in the building. Salute. What up, World Combat Sports in the chat? Salute, bro. What's good, D Hodges? King Mitch in the building. Salute. What's good? Listen, bro. And I done put the link up in there, man. I provided people the opportunity. I'm not gonna put no smoke this, smoke that, just so people can get on the panel. If it's smoke, it's smoke. But you're free to jump on and provide your OP, on this July 24th bout. And also, any other fights that's coming up. Like we have the Devin Haney, Jorge Linares. We have the Teofimo Lopez, George Kambosos next month. We have, the Jamel Charlo fight, Brian Costano coming up. We have Javante Davis and Mario Barrios coming up. We have Eric Chalub and Jason Rosario coming up. Yes, sir. We absolutely do. We have Julian Williams stepping back in there since losing his titles to Jason Rosario. That's a crazy card. Hold on for a second, y'all. All right, I'm back. I'm back. But that's where you at with Carissa Shields. You know, they left Brittany Elkin. I see a lot of this going on lately. No age information. You know, pretty much sell the fight. If you look on Floyd Mayweather, some of his shit they don't have an age on it. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're trying to clean it up a little bit and provide fans with more of an interest to tune in without being discouraged about age and all this other shit, unless you Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? But that's where we at, man. You know, I'm curious to see how, you know, if there's going to be any pressure for Carissa Shields to utilize skills that she haven't completely mastered yet, you know, such as takedown defense, kicks, low calf kicks. They're not the most comfortable kicks, high kicks, you know, um, elbows, even takedowns. You know, if she's able to get a takedown, does she know what to do against a grappler without being swept? Or you know, I mean that's very very important. You can get the takedown, but if in fact you don't know what to do with the takedown, it's not just you know start landing you know hard ass punches and just losing your position. You have to establish control in the dominant position. Does she understand how that control works from an experienced grappler like Elkin? That's gonna play a huge role. That's a whole nother game down there. That's a whole nother game. You know, especially when you're in there with someone who can actually grapple on the ground. But the one way to negate a grappling game is to knock a motherfucker out. That is one way how to negate all of that shit. Knock them out. Period. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Knock them out. That is how that process works. So, you know, Carissa Shields going in there against Brittany Elkin next week. You know, support her. She is diversifying her combat sports portfolio. She's coming from boxing. She's not totally leaving boxing. She's coming from boxing, transferring over cross threading to mixed martial arts. And you have to understand that mixed martial artists in the boxing ring fight different. So she's probably learning some more shit and how to fight on the inside and everything that she can use in boxing. Believe that. But the fact that she's taken the opportunity to do it, she's not the first, but at least she's doing it. She has a long road to go. She wants to be champion in boxing and mixed martial arts. Now, if she was going to the UFC, I would pretty much say that's gonna be difficult for her to do. But in the PFL, I don't know, man. Um, you know that division she's fighting in 155. That's a lightweight division. You know, I don't know, man. I really can't tell you how that's gonna play out. They're very limited, shallow in their depth of field when it comes to opponents in that division. So I'm just curious how it's all gonna play out. Period. You know. If you didn't hear Paige VanZant, who just lost to Brittany Hart in bare knuckle fighting championship, she's going to be stepping back in the cage against Rachel Ostovich. Rachel Ostovich and Paige VanZant are both UFC veterans, former UFC veterans. So that's going to be very interesting, man, because Rachel Ostovich, man, she's been out the cage for a minute. Both of these girls are very, very easy on the eyes. Very attractive for combat sports. And we know that bare knuckle, you going in there with no covering on your knuckle properties, absolutely none. And you might see some people getting bloody. But I'm gonna be honest. Paige never really had a problem with being bloodied. I mean, she's doing her IG thing. She's on point with it. Rachel Ostovich, she's been on IG. I don't know how this fight's gonna play out, man. Both of these women are IG connoisseurs. They make a lot of money out there with their looks, God bless them with. So we'll see how that plays out, man. You know, that's all I can say about that. Hold on for a second. Okay, but yeah, people. I just popped in, you know. I'm kind of get this going. I'm gonna jump off right now, and I'll be back on probably tomorrow. If anything pops up, I choose to talk about later on. I'll see what's popping, but got a lot of shit going on that I got to take care of. But hey, Trump and tuning in the World Combat Sports. Appreciate everyone for pulling up. Salute.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6 sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me.